This is Thank You Mama, weekly lessons from mothers all around the world. Hi, my name is Anna Teider and this is Thank You Mama. Today our guest is Stephanie Mitchell from Seattle. Hi Stephanie, welcome.
Hi, nice to meet everybody.
Hi. Stephanie works for Magic the Gathering and she is a game producer. And now Stephanie will reveal the mystery from all these two things. What is Magic the Gathering and what does a game producer do?
So Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game. For those who know about it, probably think about it in a nostalgic way. It was created in 1995, and it's been 26 years now. And it's mostly two people, maybe four people playing with each other and casting spells and attacking each other with creatures. It's a lot of fun.
And what do you do as a producer? When you told me I'm a game producer, I'm like, well, what does that mean? Is it similar to a movie producer or a music producer?
Oh, well, there is a lot of organization and keeping people organized and on time. So in that sense, I think it's similar. But to be honest, I don't know what I don't know what a movie producer does. So I don't know if I could say exactly, but it's definitely a lot of coordination with a lot of different teams and making sure that we hit dates on time.
You have many releases of the card set, many card sets a year. So how many do you do a year?
It's a lot of card sets. So every year we have 4 standard expansion sets. From there, we have 1 or 2 other format expansion sets, and then maybe we have a couple smaller releases too, like Signature Spellbook or a couple small releases. So we could be working on anywhere from 8 to 20 sets at one time.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah.
That's a lot of producing.
Yeah. A lot of dates, a lot of people, a lot of handoffs. Yeah, for sure.
Stephanie, you are one of my 2, I think, guests who volunteered to come and be my guests on the podcast. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Big compliment for me.
Oh, this is definitely near and dear to my heart, and I cannot wait to, as of this, you haven't released any, right?
No.
So, yeah,
no, I want to have 10 before I release.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I've been searching for your name in it.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, so I'm very eager to hear what the other interviews have been.
It's a treasure chest. It's so much fun.
Oh, I can't wait.
Every interview, every mom, every daughter has so much to give and it's so different. It's a lot of fun. Why did you want to do this? Tell me about your mom.
I love my mom so much. She has taught me so much. When I think about my childhood, I just feel incredibly special and grateful. I think the more complicated stuff between us has definitely come up during adulthood. But when I think about my childhood through my teens and early 20s, I just am so grateful for her. She has just taught me so much. And I don't know, I just wanted to brag about her and what she has taught me and then maybe talk a little bit about the stuff in my adulthood, which is a totally different perspective as I think we all grow to learn, you know.
So what has she taught you?
Oh my gosh. So to get started, I would definitely say, so my mother was a single mom. My parents divorced when I was 4, I believe, or at least they separated when I was 4.
And you had a brother. She had 2 children at that time.
Me and my brother.
And she was very, very young, wasn't she?
Yes. So my mother had my brother and I when she was 20 and 22. So when she divorced, she was 26, 25, 26, somewhere in there, which is absolutely insane to me because I am 35. I do not have any children. I honestly could not imagine having been divorced with 2 kids 10 years ago. That is so crazy to me.
Crazy.
So she definitely, she did a lot of growing up and she definitely did the best she could. And I also feel like she did the best she could.
What happened then?
Oh, so basically there was a lot of babysitters. There was a lot of daycare. There was a lot of church preschool.
Because mom was working the whole
She
time.
worked, yeah.
What's her name? You didn't tell us
Oh,
what her name is.
her name is Tanya. Tanya Lynn. My name is Stephanie Lynn, so we have a middle name in common, which I
Okay.
absolutely love. So we moved here. We moved to Washington in 88 or 89, and her very first job that she got was a bartender. She has always kept that job, actually. She's technically a bartender to this day, but since then and now, she's had a lot of different jobs. Travel agent is one of them, and she had some odds and ends. So she always had multiple jobs, which leads me to, like, one of the things that she taught me was just elbow grease, working really hard, getting what you want by putting energy and what's the word I'm looking for?
Persistence.
Yeah, a lot of energy and dedication.
Dedication.
Yeah.
She had, after she divorced, she got married again. You have a half.
Yes, so I have a half sister. She remarried in 1995, I believe, and then my sister was born shortly after that. And so I do have a half sister, although it is really weird to say that. I don't actually think of her as my half sister.
Oh, okay. That's fantastic.
She's my she's my sister. Yeah. Yeah, she was born when I was 11 years old. Maybe I was 10 but had just turned 11 shortly thereafter. So when she was born, everybody joked because she was my baby. I took care of her. I loved her so much. I dressed her. I just wanted to do everything for her.
And then Tanya got divorced quite soon after the baby, which means she was alone with 3 kids at an early age.
Well, so she divorced when my little sister was 6 years old.
Okay.
So my sister was older than my brother and I when my mom divorced. I think she was 6 or 7. Somewhere around there, because I was in high school, so it must have been, well, so she must have been, I'm just now doing the math on this. You're making me think about these things.
But the point is, she was a single mom of 3.
Yes, she was a single mom of 3, yeah.
A few jobs.
She worked a few jobs, yeah, it was very much, I would say a little chaos in the house, but it was back then when my mom would just tell my brother and I to go play outside. And we would just run around the neighborhood and climb up neighbors' trees and get in trouble and all that sort of thing. But one thing that she did have help on was my brother and I went to Montana, which is where all of my family lives, my mom's side and my dad's side. So we would go there every summer. So every summer, my mom was probably so thankful, but my mom was actually very lucky to have the summer off, basically. So we would go to Montana every Memorial Day, and we would kind of get passed around. And that sounds kind of bad, but we loved it. We went to my grandma's for a while. We went to my dad's for a while. We went to my other grandma's. I'd go to my aunts. I'd go to my uncles. And I spent most of the time at my mom's mom, my grandma, on that side. Most of the summer there, but it was definitely, I just loved it so much. I loved Montana, being outdoors. We did a lot of fishing and camping and running around outside. So that was definitely something that I know she's grateful for, and DJ and I are grateful for that too. Some of our favorite memories are definitely during those times where we got passed around the family.
So I'm curious, I want to go back to elbow grease.
Yeah.
Are you implementing that? Did you experience in your own life that helps you, that it was a valuable thing to learn and to inherit? Are you a hard worker like your mom?
I think everyone would definitely say that I am a hard worker. I put my head down. I work the hardest I can. I sweat. I put tears into it some. Everything that I do, I just do it so earnestly. And I definitely got that from her. It's like, you just pick whatever you're going to do and then just work really, really hard at what you want and what you want to do.
There was another lesson that's important, independence.
Oh, yes. Arguably more important than elbow grease, which is...
I don't know. I love elbow grease.
You definitely need it. But because she just did so much for herself, working so many jobs, cooking us meals, getting up in the morning, getting us to school, getting herself to work, it's
Cannot imagine that with 3 kids
yeah,
and alone.
it is a lot. Yeah. So there was just a lot of looking up to my mom and a lot of her doing things for herself. The truth is that when my mom was married to my
For
dad,
herself or by herself?
maybe a little bit of both, but definitely you're right in that it was by herself. But when I was little, I didn't notice how much my dad had supported. So I can't really say because I don't have a lot of memories of that. But I know that when she was married to my sister's dad, it really did feel like my mom was the head of the household. She is the one that took care of everything, made sure all the bills were paid, made sure everyone was fed. She just really took care of everyone. She was like the producer of our family.
I was just thinking that. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. She made sure that we got to all of our extracurriculars on time. My brother did wrestling. I did Girl Scouts. You know, she definitely made sure that the lights were on. We got where we needed to go. We had food in our mouths. She was definitely remarkable in that way.
And then you mentioned people.
Oh
Being
my gosh.
a people's person as
Yes.
something that you've learned from her. I'm curious about that as a lesson.
So, yeah, watching my mom is a truly beloved friend, and everyone that comes across her just loves her so much, and it's because she is a sweetheart. She's so sweet, she's so kind, and she's also so funny. I remember growing up and she just retells stories that are just so interesting and they're always funny. She has the best jokes. Everyone is so captivated by her and she knows how to interact with people. Like I said, she's been a bartender since 89, 88, 89, and she knows how to serve people and make them comfortable and have fun with them. I mean, like, it's a little bit of like, yes, she wants tips, but she genuinely cares for all of these people. When she sees someone more than a couple times in her bar, she knows their names. She knows who their partner is. She asks them, hey, are you going to be around? I'll be around, come say hi. So she's very kind. She's very social. She's funny. She's sweet. And she's just so beloved.
Which is why she was so successful that at one point, which we forgot to mention in the beginning, she bought her own, she bought her bar.
Oh,
where
yes.
She was working. So she's now running her own business.
She
and we
is.
Totally forgot to
I know. So she worked at this bar from, let's say, 89 to 2011. That's a really long time to work for the same place. And the owners of the bar, they were ready to retire. Their kids were not interested in, running the business. So they sold it to my mom and another bartender, and who had also been there for a couple of years longer. And so, yeah, now she owns this bar, and she is really the businesswoman of this bar. She does all the bookkeeping, and she has updated it, and they have karaoke now and they have Wi-Fi now, which they didn't before, which just seems like super easy things to have at a bar. But yeah, this bar was actually established in 1918.
Oh, really?
It's 100 years old. Yeah, and it's been passed down, and my mom was so happy to take it over, do some updates, but it's called the same bar. It's called Coonley's Tavern. It's in Marysville, up north. And it's just it's a part of Old Town. It's just very beloved, and she's definitely kept it feeling the same, but now there's a lot more fun there, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the people, being a people's person.
Yeah.
Do you need this in your work as a producer? Are you a people's person? Did it help you professionally, privately?
I definitely think professionally, because when you're negotiating with people with deadlines and handoffs and trying to, you have to understand where they're coming from as well as articulate where you're coming from. Yeah. Like being able to talk to people and be real with them and You want to be cooperative and friendly and kind. And I definitely think I got that from her for sure. And definitely in my personal life too. Oh man, my mom knows how to party. I love a good dance party, have fun. I definitely got that from her. Every year on my birthday, I invite all of my friends to go to the club and have a dance party. Even at 35, I just can't stop doing it. And yeah, I know I got that from her. When I turned 21 and I went to a dance bar, with my friends, my mom came and we all danced and had drinks, and it was the funnest time. So she knows how I've had a good time. She taught me how to have fun. She taught me to love music. And so, yeah, dancing and music and having a good time is just the perfect combination of something that a lot of people actually tell me, they're like, you remind me of your mother. And I just smile because I love that so much.
I do too. So, but you are dancing as a hobby now, aren't you? You are clogging.
Yes.
I had to learn what clogging is.
Yes. So it's an American folk dancing. So it originated here in America. So the shoes that you wear is a little bit like tap shoes, but there's two metal pieces instead of one, and they click together when you dance. And you tap your toes to the beat in a combination that keeps up with the music. And I've been doing that for a year and a half now. So it's definitely new, but I just love it so much. I was just at clogging the other night, and I learned to dance to Taylor Swift's, I can't remember the title, but she talks about being 22. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I'm learning a clog dance to that song. It is so much fun.
That must be super, super fun.
Yeah.
I want to come watch.
Yes. We periodically have public performances, so next time I'll let you know.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Do you have more lessons that you want to share that you've learned from Tanya?
I don't know. I'm like,
if not, I have to ask the tricky question.
uh-oh.
Are there things that Tanya didn't teach you?
Oh
or was
my
not
gosh.
able to teach you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I think really becoming your own person in the sort of in the shadows of whoever one thinks that is like really remarkable. I even think she's remarkable, but I think growing up in those shadows is a little bit hard. I wanted to be like her so much, but as I grew up older and I'm becoming my own person, I realized how much we're actually different. And so I think that's a little bit hard to sort of recognize that she's her own person, I'm her own person. She's not just a mom, which is very hard to even think about. It's sort of when you see your teacher at a grocery store and you're like, this is impossible. They don't live outside of the classroom. It is really like that. When I got older, I realized that she's her own person. She has had her own struggles. And it was very hard to reconcile her individuality with the mom I just have in my head. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things that she wasn't perfect on, and there are things that I absolutely disagree with her today. And, I fight with her, and we get upset with each other.
Is there a lack of communication? Is there that something that could have been... Do you wish she was more honest about certain things? About the way she is, or...
Yeah, yes. So I was married a long time ago.
When you were 21?
When I was 21 or 22.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I thought I was making a joke.
No. No, you nailed it. That's really funny. Yeah, I got married really young. We had been dating, we were going out for 3 years almost 4 years when we got married. But it was just one of those incidences where we got married and it was not what I thought it was going to be. He was different than I thought he was going to be. Listen, we're all young. We're all young and dumb at some point, So yeah, when I told her that I was getting divorced, I don't think she wanted that for me. She was twice divorced. And I think that she wanted me to try to make it work. She didn't want me to go through what she went through with her divorces. But I think that was the first time that there was like a crack in our relationship. I ended up very soon after getting my divorce, I up and moved to LA. And I think that there was a huge fracture there between us that honestly I don't really know if that's been resolved to this day. If we resolved it, I guess I don't know about it, but we neither of us really talk about it. And she never visited me. I lived there for 3 years and she never visited me. I did come home and I would spend time with her, but it just, it wasn't the same. And then I moved to Denver, where I feel like I really came into my own person, and I feel like Denver is my home in a lot of ways. I know I grew up, near Seattle, but Denver is when I bought my own condo and I made my like adult best friends and all of those things, And so yeah, she came to visit me out there, and I think that was one of the epiphanies that I had, is that I just really became my own person, and we were just so much different than I thought. And I sort of saw her in a different light, I think. And so it's been, let's see, it was sometime, I think in 2013 when she came out to Denver. And it's 2020 now, so it's been 7 years since then that I think that I'm like, oh shit, like the things you didn't know, or the things you wish you would have known or been more privy to or been smarter about or had noticed. I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Every hindsight is 2020, so it's hard to really think back. And not to say she's a terrible person or anything. Everyone, you only know a part of her, and I think I really only understood the mom part of her, and I didn't really understood the individual part of her until that moment.
But I think as we grow older, we constantly discover new parts of our moms. I think our moms are evolving with us or to us. We always discover new things. I think at 40 you'll discover something new. At 50 you will see her through different eyes. It's this evolving relationship, and we change and they change, and things we are able to recognize at a certain age change. So it's a continuously evolving and changing relationship, I believe. And then, I'm sorry to say it, but once they're gone, it changes completely again, But I want to move to a topic that's very important to me personally, and this is one of the things you mentioned as a thing she was not able to teach you, which is, do I say less independence or more trust? Or, this is something I can definitely identify with. It took me a very, very long time, until I was 36, to be able to. I think I was even shoved. I was shoved into a situation where I have to be like, okay, I'm sticking with this. I was way, way, way too independent always. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think that learning that your entire life can't be completely independent is a little bit shocking. I think that's the reason why I'm struggling in some ways with my relationship now. It's a very strange problem to have when I have to tell my boyfriend that I'm too independent. He needs to help me to help him. I need him more. Even fake needing him more leans into needing him more, which I've been talking to my therapist about. But so we did this experiment recently so my therapist asked me, like, what can you do to be more needy? Like, how can you demonstrate this? I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I don't want to demonstrate this. Yeah. So
what is needy?
Yeah, exactly.
Define needy.
Right. So he said it's something as easy as saying, yes, I can open this jar of pickles, but why don't you open this jar of pickles for me? Which I was kind of like, okay, that's easy mode. That's too easy. So I thought, okay, so one thing that is very hard for me is I have a schedule in my mind. I leave it at the house at a certain time. I leave work at a certain time. I go to I ring your doorbell at the exact moment that you told me to be here. It is because I time things perfectly. And so I talked to my boyfriend, and we decided that he would come and pick me up for work. He doesn't live that far away from me, and we work at the same place. So he's going to come pick me up for work. We're going to go to work, and then he's going to take me home. That was so hard. That was so, so hard. And bless his heart, because he actually got to my place early. Because in my mind, he's like, what if he's late? What if he gets me to work late? Which, WotC is a little bit relaxed in that sense. As long as you're not late for an actual meeting, you don't have to be at the office at 8:30 or at the office at 9 exactly. But in my mind, I do. In my mind, I have to be there on time. So we did that for a day. And at the end of the day, I like to go to the gym and I like to work out. And so he was not finished yet. And I'm sitting there with my workout bag going, I'd like to go home now. I'd like to go home. But he's not done. And so I'm just like, if I had my car, I would be in it and I would be home and I would be making dinner and I'd be doing all these things. And I'm like, calm down. You've passed off this power of you're letting him take care of you, but you have to wait a couple minutes. It's fine. It's fine. But it's so hard. So we did that twice. And then he's like, I think this was really successful. And I'm like, yeah, really? Really? So he called me the following week and he was like, I want to pick you up again. And I'm like, oh God, let me drive myself to work. But yeah, it's been a struggle. So yeah, it's definitely, I trust myself the most. I rely on myself the most. And letting some of that go is seriously, seriously a struggle. So yeah, letting him open the jars every now and then, even this morning when we picked out brunch, I'm like, he says, oh, I'm hungry. And I'm like, oh, I'll look at my Google Maps list. I'll pick out a brunch place. And he's like, let me pick out a brunch place. Okay. But if you don't pick out a good brunch place, I don't know. It's really, really a crazy thing. It's a very windy road, let me tell you, with trust and independence. If I've always picked out my own brunch places and letting someone else do that now is scary. It's small, but it's scary.
I know. I know.
Yeah. And we're talking about moving in together now. And I'm just like, whew. Yeah, just a lot of sighs, deep breathing. Yeah, he's talking about he wants to buy, this for the place and rearrange this. And he wants to get rid of my mug collection. Why do you want to get rid of my mug collection? I mean, I'm being a little bit dramatic. He doesn't want to get rid of all my mugs, but it's very much like, these are mine.
This is so funny because we had this other way around. Nick had a mug collection. I'm like, you never drink from these. You never use them. Can we get rid of them? And he's like, are you insane?
I'm going to bring this up the next time I talk to Nick. I'm going to be like, nice mug. We're like mug bros or something. That is so funny.
I wish he used them. If we use them, it would be okay. But this mug collection that's just sitting there, I don't understand. Anyway, I have one last topic that I wanted to talk to you about. We talked about how there's addiction in your family from your both sides. And one of the things that I understood you wish you've learned from her would be how to deal with this, how to recognize it and deal with it.
So I remember being about 5 years old, and I told my mom that cigarettes were unhealthy for her, and I wish she did not smoke cigarettes. And from that day on, I thought she quit, but she only smoked when she was not at home. And my mom told me this story. I have a memory of it because I think she told it to me, and now I've just kind of stored it as a memory, but I thought that was really, really wild, that as a young child, I understood that it was bad and it was a problem, and I told her that I didn't like it. And so it's just a very deep-seated thing that I don't know, it's just a weird thing to really think about. At that age, you are really learning what is right and wrong, and I knew smoking was wrong. And I don't know how I knew, I don't know why I knew, I didn't know where I learned it, but I knew it was wrong. And I think that was probably the first time that I had even thought about something like that. And then, as I grew older, my mom worked at a bar, and I just never saw drinking as a problem. I never saw beer or alcohol, we always had it in the house. We had house parties.
And
My mom would be the
you
host.
said your dad's family is Irish, and
Oh
they
my God.
love drinking.
Yes. Yes. My dad's side is Catholic Irish. So there is a good amount of church and alcohol always happening all the time. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's definitely true. It's just a very normal thing that was a part of my life. It was never taboo. Both of my parents are from Montana. We go there a lot. It is just, I remember my dad driving us to camping, and he would drink a beer on the way to the campsite. Driving. He would have a Bud Light in between his legs in the truck it was just so normal. It was so normal. So I think I was probably in my teens when I found out that my dad's mom died of alcoholism. And then right around that same time, actually, I think I found that out because my brother got drunk and he ended up puking all over his friend's pillow. And so we were my mom just approached the incident. Your grandfather died of alcohol. We kind of don't. But I really think that was the first and only time I can think that she ever talked to us about it. Mm. So growing up, I didn't, you don't even know what that means. And now I know that he had cirrhosis of the liver. He just drank way too much, drank himself to death, basically, sadly. I think I was about 4 when he died. I didn't know him very well. But yeah, that was just a very unfortunate thing. But I think that was like the last lesson I ever really got about alcohol. I remember I was probably 20 and my mom made me a White Russian at the house. I think I was a little bit younger than that. I had a wine cooler at my friend's house. I mean, her parents were there. I don't know. Alcohol was so normal that it wasn't a thing that you used to be a rebel against your parents with. So it was very, very strange. And then in high school, my brother did some drugs. And if there is anyone else who has an older brother out there, you absolutely do not want to be like your older brother. I was like, whatever he's doing, I don't want to do that. He's a dumb older brother. So yeah, I knew that he had gotten into drugs, and I knew that I just did not want a part of it. For that really actually very dumb reason. It's not because I knew that it was bad for you. I actually didn't know that drugs were bad for you. I didn't really, we didn't really talk about those things. And so it was just later where I had realized that, yeah, my mom actually, I found out in middle school, she didn't stop smoking, and I hid her cigarettes. Every time I found a pack, I hid them. And at some point, she came to me and she's like, Steph, I know you've been finding my cigarettes. What have you been doing with them? And I had been hiding them. And I opened this little slot in the basement. It was like sort of an unfinished basement. And I just push out all these packs of cigarettes. And my mom was like, I didn't know it was this many. So, yeah, but we never had a conversation about that. Yeah. We never talked about it. She's like, great, thanks. Please stop taking them. And we never talked about it. So, yeah, growing up now, I've been very, very sensitive about it. The first time I had ever smoked weed was when it was legal in Colorado, 2014. And even now, it's very much like a once a month type of thing. I think drinking is the same way for me. From September 2018 through October of 2019, I did not have one drink of alcohol. And a lot of that was because, one, I was sensitive to the fact that my family had an issue. I have alcoholic uncles and, grandparents, obviously. But also I did see that my mom was drinking more and more, and I was just very adverse to that. So I just decided not to drink at all. And I've recently had a few since October. But yeah, I'm very sensitive to it. I don't want to die of alcoholism. I don't want any in my family to die of alcoholism. And it's a very, very hard conversation.
But obviously a conversation you had with yourself, but you wish you had maybe with your mom or your parents. The conversations we don't have.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast.
Yes,
Oh my
that's a
gosh.
good one.
The conversations we did not have. Yes.
Great. Let's start that.
Yes.
Stephanie, thank you so much for being my guest.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for sharing Mama Tanya with me and my listeners. Thank you again. If you enjoy Thank You Mama and want to help it grow, please take the 2 seconds to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps. If you'd like to get in touch, you can send me a mail at info@thankyouMama.net. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Anna Tider, that's Tajder. This was Thank You Mama. Come back next week, subscribe, and tell your friends.